Hi, Jumping from King's Cross. This is the Rorschach, Georgia update from the 25th of June, 2026. Quick summary of what's going down in Georgia. On Monday the 22nd, prominent Georgian businessman Temur Ugulava passed away from lung cancer in New York City, where he was undergoing medical treatment. He was 56 years old. Ugulava originally built his massive fortune in the gambling industry as the founder of Ajadabet, Georgia's largest online gambling platform, which he later sold. He used that capital to found ECHR Group and completely revolutionized the urban identity of modern Tbilisi. His company pioneered the adaptive use of abandoned Soviet-era industrial buildings, transforming them into globally famous landmarks like luxury Stampa and Rooms Hotel. Following his death, public figures and thousands of citizens flooded social media to praise Ugulava for single-handedly putting Georgia on the map for modern architecture and creative tourism. Next up, on Monday the 22nd, global consumer goods giant Procter & Gamble halted all advertising on the pro-government channel IMEDI TV. The owner of household brands like Pampers and Gillette pulled its ads following intense scrutiny over international sanctions compliance. At the same time, food giant Nestle launched an internal investigation after British media revealed that its advertisements for Nescafe and Nesquik still ran on the network despite UK restrictions. This corporate retreat follows the UK government's decision to sanction IMEDI TVs for spreading pro-Kremlin propaganda regarding Russia's invasion of Ukraine. While Western brands face massive legal risks and secondary sanctions for financing the blacklisted broadcaster, IMEDI TV retaliated by publicly attacking the corporations for continuing operations inside Russia. In related news, on Tuesday, the 23rd, Prime Minister Irakli Kobakhidze mocked the sudden resignation of British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. During a press conference, Kobakhidze described Starmer's political downfall as poetic karma for sanctioning IMEDI TV. The Georgian leader ridiculed Starmer as the world's most unpopular prime minister and said that the British leader had left office in tears. IMEDI TV celebrated Starmer's resignation by posting a graphic card on Facebook with a single word caption, karma. On Tuesday, the 23rd European Court for Human Rights ruled that Russia bears full legal responsibility for the torture and extrajudicial execution of Georgian prisoners of war during the 2008 armed conflict. The ruling combines two major lawsuits filed by the Georgian Young Lawyers Association on behalf of Georgia's national hero, Georgian Antsukhalidze, and 7 fellow service members. The Strasbourg court reviewed video evidence showing South Ossetian and Russian forces brutally beating Antsukhalidze before executing him. Judges rejected Moscow's defenses regarding wartime chaos, ruling that Russia maintained effective control over Tskhinvali and deliberately permitted these horrific treaty violations. The court ordered Russia to pay 65,000 euros to Antsukhalidze's family and 40,000 euros to surviving victims. On Monday the 19th, Tbilisi's Ahli Beit Mosque shared a message from Iran's former Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei on its official Facebook page. The message from Khamenei, who was killed in military airstrikes in February, was addressed to Muslim pilgrims performing the Hajj, the annual Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca. In the text, the deceased leader described the United States as the Great Satan and states the slogan, "Death to America and Death to Israel," will become common global rallying cries. In a parallel development, video footage surfaced from the Imam Ali Mosque in Marnaouli, located in Femo-Kartli region, showing worshippers performing a religious chant in front of a displayed portrait of Khamenei during a sermon where the local cleric denounced the United States. Video in the show notes. Prominent Russian dissident artist Robert Kuzovkov was shot 5 times and killed in Poland on Monday the 15th. Widely known by his pen name Semyon Skrapetsky, Kuzovkov was known for his political caricatures mocking Russian President Vladimir Putin. Polish authorities have arrested and charged a 36-year-old suspect, Elnur A., who has a prior criminal record in Poland and may be tied to an earlier unsolved murder in Warsaw. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk confirmed the suspect carries a Georgian passport, while local press notes that he speaks Azerbaijani. On Monday the 22nd, the Tbilisi City Court handed down 5-year prison sentences to 8 more protesters for storming the presidential palace during the October 4th demonstrations last year. Prosecutors originally charged more than 60 people, specifically accusing them of participating in organized group violence and trying to seize or block strategic facilities after a crowd breached the palace fence. With these latest verdicts, the total number of sentenced individuals has risen to 25. This includes a defendant from an earlier hearing, Ia Darakwilidze, who fled the country while on bail and was sentenced in absentia. Meanwhile, 22 other defendants secured their release by striking plea deals in exchange for admitting guilt, while the remaining individuals are still awaiting their final verdicts. Continuing with this story, details emerged about how Ia Darakwilidze, one of the sentenced demonstrators, was able to flee the country. Authorities originally released Darakwilidze on a 10,000 lari bail after she suffered severe epilepsy seizures in a pretrial detention cell. Because the court did not confiscate her passport or restrict her travel, she legally crossed the border and left the country as well before the final verdict. In a social media post, Darakwilidze confirmed she is safe in an undisclosed country where her human rights will be protected, saying she chose exile over becoming another political prisoner. According to the 2026 EU Neighbours East survey, while 71% of Georgians support joining the EU, 49% believe the country is moving in the wrong direction towards membership. Public sentiment has fractured during 2024. Positive views of the EU dropped from 60 to 50%, while negative views climbed from 32% to 50%, leaving opinion split down the middle. Trust in the bloc has also fallen from 81% to 67%. When looking at integration roadblocks, 34% blame a lack of domestic political will, while 13% point to unresolved territorial disputes, and another 13% believe the country cannot meet the extension criteria. On Monday the 17th, a lawyer for imprisoned opposition leader Elena Khostaria warned her health was deteriorating in a Rustavi prison. Khostaria is serving a 1.5-year sentence for writing Russian Dream on a ruling party campaign banner. Her defense team reported she faces severe joint pain and restricted mobility, already requiring a cane to walk. Citing assessments from a Turkish clinic, her lawyers warned that without immediate systemic treatment, the damage could become irreversible, eventually forcing her into a wheelchair. On Monday the 22nd, Temur Gulia, the leader of the Abkhazian veteran organization Arua, threatened to level the Richard Luke Laboratory, commonly known as the Luger Lab, in Tbilisi if Georgia attempted to retake the occupied region by force. Gulia said Abkhazia can launch 1,000 attack drones a day to destroy Georgia's strategic infrastructure and finish any potential conflict within 10 days. Gulia also spoke about the need to pressure Tbilisi into signing a legally binding non-use of force agreement. However, since Georgia does not recognize Abkhazia as a separate party of the conflict, it is only willing to sign the agreement with Russia. An article by Tatev Hovhesian titled Soviet-Style Culture of Informants, How Georgia's Feminists Learned to Live Under Siege, explores how new laws in an atmosphere of fear have forced feminist activists into survival mode. The piece details how the ruling party's foreign agent and grant laws, which threaten up to 12 years in prison for activism funding, have pushed activists to hide their names, move operations abroad, and stay out of the public eye. Hovhesian also writes about a culture of informants that is destroying trust in the embattled community. Link to the full article in the show notes, and that's it for this week. Thank you for joining us. Anything to ask or tell us, info@rorschach.com. Nacham bis.